emprunté. Premièrement, je regardais les matériaux du livre et je peux authentifier le livre avec ce matériau. Donc un livre, particulièrement un petit livre, comme ça, va faire 103 de bois, mais avec le reliement de ligne et avec les pages de croix. Nous pouvons regarder le livre et authentifier avec les matériaux parce que ce livre a le reliant du lin et le couvert de croix et pas de bois, sans de bois. Et donc, nous pouvons dire que c'est un livre que Leonardo peut-être avant acheté en Milan, peut-être en France.
Our next art historian, Ima F. Painter, helped us to authenticate this notebook as indeed once belonging to Leonardo da Vinci.
So they called me in a few weeks ago to authenticate this notebook. They had it taken to a bookbinder who had said, yes, it's plausibly from the period, from the location where he would have purchased a book. And they wanted me to look and see if, this is indeed Da Vinci's work, to look at the compositional elements, really, of the drawings, of the pages, to see if, yes, we can authenticate this to Leonardo da Vinci. So first we have this very naturalistic drawing of a lily, totally in keeping with what Leonardo would have been doing. And we can see specifically this left-handed cross-hatching. We know Da Vinci was left-handed, and he did his hatching in this method. This fits exactly with many other drawings that we've seen from his work that do have that same left-handed cross-hatching. On this next page, we have a key element of our authentication, actually, this backwards writing. It's backwards writing in Italian, which was something that Da Vinci did in many of his notebooks. He wrote in mirror script that could only be read by him. And we can do the handwriting analysis on this and confirm that, yes, it is the same handwriting. It's written in the Italian. It's written in this mirror script. And again, thematically, this page does indeed fit with the Da Vinci notebook. We have the very naturalistic head of this lion fit with a very mechanical, very sort of more hard science drawing of this hydraulic system. So he's blending there his interest in the sciences and engineering with his interest in nature. And finally, again, this left-handed cross-hatching, and it's a study of just the same body part over and over and over again. Many of Da Vinci's anatomical studies were like this. He would draw just one body part repeatedly on a page. So this notebook does have all of the compositional features that we would expect to see from a Da Vinci book. It fits the time, it fits the place. We can say with not certainty, but with a very, very high level of confidence that this notebook did indeed belong to Leonardo da Vinci.
Finally, we spoke with the nation's leading expert on the work of Leonardo da Vinci, Leah Van Donadori, about what this means for our knowledge of da Vinci's final days.
Of course, we get a lot more information when we're actually looking at what's on the pages. So for example, the first page in this notebook is this beautiful drawing, a very naturalistic sketch of this lily. And we know that at the time Leonardo was in the court of Francis I, he was doing a lot with the lily, obviously the fleur-de-lis, the symbol of the King of France. So it makes sense that this would have been something he was studying perhaps to work into a future pageant. This next page is where we really start to understand the type of projects Leonardo was doing, what he was working on. And we have what looks like sort of a very basic hydraulic system and the head of this lion. They don't seem to be connected, and yet they're drawn in such close proximity. We can see even that the hydraulic system is sort of intertwined within the lion's body. And when we read the notes, we can see that what Leonardo was actually trying to do is have this lion spit out lily perfumed water. We know he had made a robotic lion, a mechanical lion, for a pageant that Francis I was putting on. It opened up its stomach and these flowers came out. We actually read about that as early as Vasari's Lives of the Artists. But we can look at this page and see that Leonardo was reforming his plan. He was trying to make the lion do more, to be more interesting, to add another feature. And he was trying to create this system where a hydraulic system within the lion would actually spit water out of its mouth. So we know that Leonardo was not satisfied with the projects he had produced in the past. And he wanted to make them better. He wanted to make them do more. He wanted to really challenge the technology of the time and see as much as he could possibly do in these pageants. But this last page is where we really get the bulk of the information that this notebook is able to give us about Leonardo. Now, we know that he was making changes to some of his paintings towards the end of his life. We've had analysis done on his painting of St. Jerome in the Wilderness that shows that he learned more about the human neck muscle and actually redrew the muscles to better fit the anatomy that he had studied later. But what we see here is Leonardo contemplating making changes to his most famous painting, in fact, the most famous painting, I would argue, in the entire history of Western art, the Mona Lisa. This page is titled La Gioconda, which we know was Leonardo's name for the Mona Lisa, and it's got these 3 drawings of different mouths, and there are notes next to each of them about the expression, whether it's humorous, whether it's serious, and a note at the top that says that this painting was seen. We know that there was a showing to some friends of Francis I's. This painting was seen, and they didn't understand what to make of the woman's expression. They were confused, they were perplexed by what she looked like. And Leonardo took this advice and he thought about changing her expression. He thought about changing her smile. The Mona Lisa's smile has been the subject of works and works. It's been so many pieces written about this smile. And Leonardo almost changed it towards the end of his life, which just shows how much he was taking into account what was going on around him, and he truly was never satisfied with these paintings. If he hadn't died when he did, we might have an entirely different Mona Lisa than the one we see today. And finally, we can look at this page that's missing. We see this ripping, as if a page was maybe torn out or fell out, and that actually helps us contextualize the fact that this notebook is indeed his last notebook. We do have what we think is Leonardo's last notebook page. It's got some right triangles, some notes about Euclidean geometry, and then this very odd note that says in Italian that the soup is getting cold and that's why he departed. And we thought that was sort of all we were going to get of his death. But when we match that page with this one, we can see that they're the same type of paper, it fits with the same time period, and that actually must have been the page that was ripped out of this notebook. So we can tell that this was Leonardo's last work. This was the last book that he worked in at the time of his death, which is a really incredible verification that we're able to make now that we've found this document. Are we going?